In this video, we're going to look at getting an equation from standard form to slope-intercept form, and then finding some corresponding parallel and perpendicular lines. So first of all, we have the equation negative 4x minus 2y equals 5, and we want to solve for y to get it into the form y equals mx plus b. So to solve this for y, I'm going to keep all the y's on the left and move anything without a y to the right. So this first term does not have a y, so I'm going to add 4x to the other side. That way I can get negative 2y on the left by itself, and then on the right we have 5 plus 4x. And then the next step to get y by itself is to divide by negative 2. So these negatives 2 will cancel. We'll have y equals, we have negative 5 halves, and then 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2x. So we would leave that 5 divided by negative 2 as just negative 5 halves. It doesn't divide nicely, but 4 divided by negative 2 comes out to be negative 2. And then I'm just going to switch the order. We don't have to, but I just like seeing it as a y equals mx plus b. So the one with an x, or the one with the variable in general, goes first. So there's our equation. In this equation, the one that is the slope is going to be the one with the variable. So is that negative 2 or is that negative 5 halves? For this, it's negative 2. It's whatever is multiplied by x. Our next step is to find lines that are parallel and lines that are perpendicular. So we want to keep in mind some review. Parallel lines means same slope. That's the symbol for parallel. We can write it out underneath though. Parallel lines means they have the same slope. Perpendicular lines means negative reciprocal slopes. So if we have some examples of this. So just a random example. So if your original slope is negative 5, to be parallel to that, your second slope would also have to be negative 5. But to be perpendicular to that, the second slope would have to be the negative reciprocal. So we'd flip 5 to be 1 over 5, and we would make the negative a positive. So you do the opposite sign of negative 5, and then flip 5 over 1 to be 1 over 5. Okay? If we do another one, if your original slope is 3/4, well, parallel would be 3/4. That one's not too hard, but perpendicular, lost our place there. Perpendicular would be negative reciprocal, so negative 4 over 3. You switch the sign and you flip the number. Okay, so keeping that in mind with this example, our slope is negative 2. We found that by solving for y equals mx plus b. And now we're going to look at the equation of a line that's parallel to that same negative 4x minus 2y equals 5, which we already solved for y equals mx plus b for. We want to be parallel to that and go through the point negative 4, comma, negative 2. So to be parallel to this negative 2 slope, this slope of this line also has to be negative 2. Parallel means the exact same slope. Second step to finding the equation of the line is going to be to find b. So first step, find m. Second step, find b by plugging into y equals mx plus b and solving for b. So we're going to replace y with the y value of the point. So looking at the point, negative 4, negative 2, the y value is negative 2. We're going to replace the slope with negative 2 because that is what it is from our work above. We're going to replace x with a negative 4. because that's what it is in the point, plus b. So we have negative 2 equals negative 2 times negative 4, which is a positive 8, plus b. And now I need to get b by itself, so I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides, which is going to give me negative 10 for my b. So my third and final step is to just write my equation. The slope has to be negative 2 to be parallel, has to be the exact same, and the y-intercept is negative 10. So y equals negative 2x minus 10 for mx plus b. We can do that exact same thing again, but now we want to be perpendicular. Perpendicular is the harder one. You have to change the sign. So if you start out with a slope of negative 5, your perpendicular slope is going to become positive. And then when you flip 5, that's really 5 over 1. That's how we got 1/5. Our other example, we started out with a slope of 3/4 to be perpendicular. It had to switch to being a negative slope. And then we flip 3 over 4 to be 4 over 3. So let's do that with this one. Our original slope that we want to be perpendicular to is negative 2. So our first step, if we want to be perpendicular, our slope is not going to be negative anymore. We're going to switch the sign, so it's going to be a positive. And we know that this negative 2 is the same thing as negative 2 divided by 1. Right? Negative 2 divided by 1 is just the same thing as negative 2. So we're going to flip 2 over 1 to be 1 over 2. Flip the number, change the sign. So go from negative 2 to a positive 1/2 to be perpendicular. And then our next step is going to be to find b. So I'm going to plug into y equals mx plus b. And we use this point as my x and my y. So the y value of the point is negative 2. The slope that we have to be perpendicular is 1/2. The x value on the point over here is negative 4. And then we have plus b. So I need to do negative 2 equals 1/2 of negative 4, which is negative 2, plus b. Be super careful here. We're adding 2 to both sides to get b by itself. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So my final answer is y equals mx plus b. So we could write it as y equals 1/2 x plus 0, or we don't necessarily need the plus 0 since adding 0 doesn't change anything. Either answer is totally fine though.